Hey everybody, it's the Interview Queen Alicia Atout here, and I'd like to welcome you to Knotfest's exclusive interview with Blind Channel. Hello, welcome to the show. How are you both doing?
Hello, all good.
All good.
I really appreciate you guys taking the time. And before we, of course, dive into the new music and everything that's coming up, I have like a little bit of a funny story. I live in Canada, but I worked a music festival in Finland 2 years ago, and I actually saw you guys perform there, and you were amazing. So I'm really excited to be chatting today.
Holy shit! What festival was that?
It was Rockfest.
Rockfest.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, it was so cool. And so as soon as I found out that I was going to be chatting with you both for Knotfest, I was like, oh, this is such a damn cool moment. So again, appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah.
Well, speaking to live shows, it's been announced that you are hitting the road across America with Fire from the Gods this spring. So how hyped were you when that tour got locked down?
We were super excited, also pretty stressed because the tours lately have been about we don't know which tour is gonna happen and which not. And then it's our first time going to the United States, so we've been super excited. And it's only we're gonna leave in less than 2 weeks, right? Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, I guess we have around 10 days until we leave. And it's super crazy to think about that. Since we were teenagers in high school, we were dreaming about playing shows in America and basically seeing all these places like Los Angeles and Seattle and stuff like that. And it's really a dream come true, like a teenage dream coming to reality. And it is really cool to come there.
Is there anything
and we haven't played a show in a while. You can notice when we don't play shows, we grow these weird as fucking beards, if you see this.
You've been in hibernation. That's the sign.
Yeah, we've only been in the studio making new music, and that's when the beards happen. So it's not usual.
That is so funny. You had mentioned how it's a bit of a childhood dream for you both. So when it comes to anything in specific you want to do, are there any spots you really want to hit up? It can be a restaurant, a store that you've heard of.
Basically, I think when we land I think we're flying to Chicago. So
Chicago.
When we see that classic American skyline, we're going to be like, holy shit, guys, we made it. It's going to be the first impression. But I would say that, yeah, for sure, Los Angeles, and we're playing in Whiskey A Go-Go. So for sure, we want to go to Rainbow and see that all the classic rock and roll places that we've been seeing in movies and documentaries. So for sure, Los Angeles is something we're really looking forward. Pretty classical, but
Yeah, well, nothing to add.
I'm sure the gigs are going to be absolutely wild, but when it does come to shows that you've attended as fans, what would you say are some of the best gigs you've been to?
I think
probably one of the biggest shows for us. I think we went together. Remember when we went to see Linkin Park in 2015? That was a huge deal for us. Linkin Park has been a big deal for us both and our band. So that was kind of a legendary moment, I think. But you saw Slipknot live, right?
I saw Slipknot when I was, I think, 16 years old. It was my first festival ever. It was Ruisrock in Finland. It was a massive festival. I saw Slipknot playing. And I remember there was earthquake happening because the ground was shaking because people were jumping so hardly. And I remember it was really shocking moment to realize that how massive Slipknot is, and the music was just pure insanity all the time. And Slipknot, the band plays a huge role for us and for me especially. I think when I was teenager, I used to play in a Slipknot cover band, and I was
amazing.
Wall 3 and in Iowa all the time. It was pure blast for me. But yeah, I have to say that I think my one of my best experiences as a fan would be Slipknot in 2009 Ruisrock. That was blast.
I have had the opportunity of seeing them so many times, and every time it just gets crazier in terms of the fans going wild and the band sounding amazing. They put on one hell of a show. So it's very cool. That's your pick.
Yeah, we love it.
Now,
I love their music, but I haven't seen them live yet, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, absolutely. And when it does come to your music, you'll release your record, Lifestyles of the Sick and Dangerous, this summer. You have the artwork, the track listing is there, singles have dropped. All you have to do is release this baby. So is the anticipation of all that kind of driving you a little bit crazy?
Well, a bit, but like we're already so fucking done with the album. Like the album was really like almost a year ago, not a year ago, maybe a half a year ago, and we were super stressed about the process, and it was also an amazing process. And then we got we got the album ready, and then we'll listen to it like 100 times a day, you know. And
Yeah,
then
you're sick of it
that's
at
only
this
the
point.
beginning for us. Yeah, and now we just can't wait to release it to people. So we're really excited about that. We're really proud about the album. But right now we're, of course, like that's the price the artist has to pay. Like you just listen to those songs so many times, and then you kind of get bored of them. Of course they get a new life when the album is released, but right now we're just like, fuck, we should just like leak this or something.
Yeah, you said it. Nothing to add.
I know that the songs on this album range from the point of breaking down to finally blowing up in terms of what you guys were writing about. And you've had such a crazy journey. So what was it like revisiting and writing about all the wild ups and downs while making this record?
I think it started with Dark Side. It was like the new start of the band. We got a new member, we got a new management. And for sure, what happened last year, it was something historical for Finnish musical exports and anything. And I would say that we went through a lot when we were writing these songs. And I think it's going to be, I think we're going to release a lot of albums in the future, but this one will be something to remember because it was like the breaking point to something huge. And we got the major deal from Century Media and Sony, and everything started to blow up so fast. So you can really, when you listen to the album and read the lyrics, you can see that those guys, they went through a lot on that time. It's really nice to see that we got to kind of capture all that emotion into the songs.
Yeah, and I don't think we didn't like plan it. We didn't plan it to be like an album that tells the story of that time to that time. Like we didn't plan that at all. I just think like we're always writing new music, and like no matter where we're on tour or wherever the hell we are, I'm writing lyrics to my phone and stuff. We're always making music. And then when we made the deal with Century Media, they wanted an album quickly. Then we just picked the songs. And then like only when the album was ready was when we realized that, holy shit, like there are songs from when we were just these little dudes who didn't know anything. And now songs from the time when we were kind of popular still didn't know anything, but you get the point. And then it happened by an accident, and I think that's a part what makes the album really cool.
I'm glad that you mentioned, the popularity there, because you're now a massive part of leading the violent pop revolution. So when did you first fall in love with heavier songs that still had more of a pop sensibility? Like who were some of those initial bands that you absolutely loved?
Well, Linkin Park was definitely the biggest deal for us. Like we wouldn't be here without Linkin Park. Like we didn't like me and the other guys in the band. We didn't even fucking like each other. Like if it wasn't for Linkin Park, Linkin Park kind of
head, and we were metalheads, so we were like rivals.
Yeah, we were.
That's great.
I had my rap posse, and the guys had their fucking metal bands, and we just eyed each other, like mad dogged each other, like what the fuck does that?
And then you had that one magical band that combined both.
Yeah, and it was a high school. It was a high school party, and the boys like put some Linkin Park on, but the boys could only sing the chorus, and then I started going like, one thing, don't know how. Like that's
doesn't even matter how hard you try.
Yeah, that's what happened. Like, and that's how we met. So Linkin Park is definitely a big deal. But I need to say that like Slipknot was one of, because I don't think Linkin Park isn't that heavy. You know what I mean? It's not that heavy music. And I always thought I wasn't into heavy music, but then a friend of mine like played, I think it was Before I Forget. That was the song on Slipknot. And I was like, first I thought, no, this shit is too heavy. But then I kind of started like vibing, like, holy shit, this song is fucking cool. And that was like a gateway drug to me to heavier music up until like nowadays I listen to a lot of fucking heavy music, but that's because of the guys.
And I would add that also, I would say that Bring Me the Horizon, which is also playing in Rockfest, they also, I think they made really big favor for the alternative music culture with Sempiternal, because they added those massive like melodies to the songs, and they had still pure heaviness. And I think when I heard Shadow Moses, when it came 2013 or something like that, it was
the same year we started.
Yeah, around that
Wow.
time. So it was a big inspiration for the whole band on that time, when we heard that you can actually capture all that pop emotion, electronic vibes, and on all the heavy music into the same combination without being like old-fashioned or repeating all the classical metalcore stuff going on that time. So I think, yeah, Bring Me the Horizon with Sempiternal played a huge role for the inspiration for music.
It's very cool hearing about these beginnings, then seeing how they've seeped into your tunes, just the little nuances, but you guys definitely are in your own lane, which is super cool to see. So I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time, for coming on the show today. It has been such a pleasure being able to discuss everything that's coming up. So we appreciate it.
Thanks a lot. It was a blast.
Thank you.
Of course, to everyone watching, this has been Blind Channel. Be sure to check out their upcoming record release and catch them on tour this spring throughout North America. And be sure to check in with knotfest.com for plenty more exclusives and features. Bye, everybody.